These corporations are trash. And if you can find a way to live without them, please do.
NANI?
Dynamite! Clap it. Dynamite! Let's get into it. Let's get into this fable. Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name's Cheryl. This is the Identity Booth. Yo, it's been a crazy few days. It's been a crazy few days. And, you know, with everything that's going on right now, a lot of people want to, like with inflation, like we're talking about inflation here. We're talking about making ends meet. And everyone is trying to find a way of getting an edge up, whether it's through the stock market. Oh, by the way, if you owned one share of Amazon, you got a total split on Monday. But if you didn't, Amazon's down to like 121. Now's a good time to buy. I bought some more on top of the 2 shares that I already owned. So I own 40 shares plus the 10 that I bought today. Shout out to Ayla. Shout out to Ayla for getting on that hype train. She got on that hype train today. It's Amazon. 5 years ago, it was like $115, and now before the dividend split, it was $2,000 something. If you told me 5 years ago, I'd be 2,000 up on 40 shares. I don't even know quick math of that, but I could pay off a house. I could. In today's market, but you know, hey, let's not divulge in that. I do want to talk about some shithole ass people who have done people dirty. In the time that it has taken for us to have the highest gas prices recorded in history, to have food cost as much as it does now, to have a baby formula shortage, the economy isn't fully open because, you know, we haven't just dealt with the pandemic appropriately. So every time a bunch of people come to the office, someone gets COVID and then all of a sudden they're back on at home work. So this COVID thing isn't just done yet. There's just no way around it. But when everything is bad, these filthy corporations still find a way to kick you while you're down. Could you imagine making ends meet and your company coming to you and saying some bullshit like, yo, our investors need more money. Oh, but we've cut so many people and we've done all these things. We've already done everything we can to shield for the investors. What more can we do? How about we cut the salaries of our workers so that way we don't have to pay them as much and we can take more money home? And that is exactly what happened in this situation. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about some places, starting with travel nurses. And I need to find the name of the second person that we can find. Travel nurses see an abrupt pay drops, canceled contracts. So TLDR for this story, you know, during the pandemic when everyone was beating on those pots and pans for our healthcare workers as they went out to battle a pandemic that the government was actively doing nothing to help them prevent, and they were constantly losing people because nurses had to use garbage bags, reuse masks, and had to make their own face shields as COVID patients were literally killing and dropping at the same rate with ever. And keep in mind, 1 million people have died from. Remember those healthcare providers we were so badly rallying for? Well, now they need our help more than ever because pandemic's still not over in certain parts of the country. And they're either having their contracts canceled in the middle of their cycle, or flat out new nurses being brought in to help deal with the overflow of COVID aren't being given the same benefits as they were in the beginning. And I'm not saying there's 2,000 people dying every day, but I'm also not saying that this is something that we can just ignore, because this is the frontline workers. If they become overwhelmed, people who go in for basic stuff will die. That's where we had people who just needed a kidney dialysis or something like that, couldn't find any nurses, and it caused them to cut contracts. But I know a lot of nurses who are struggling and suffering because of this. Nurses who, packed up their lives to go save lives and are being punished for it. It's crazy. It's crazy. But this is healthcare workers, right? I had to go on Reddit, and I hope I'm the first person to drop this story because I couldn't find this story anywhere else. UPS just cut packages, loaders, pay by $80 a week. That's $320 a month pay cut for back-breaking work during sky-high inflation, record profits for the company. Please help me spread this message so we can get some support for contract negotiations. This is why unions are important, people. This is why unions are important. And I called cap on this. I was like, bullshit. I started reading some of these. A lot of people were putting in their own 2 words. I'm fucking working from home. I'm working wrong with them. I was like, this is the internet. Anybody can say anything. Shift your work. Yo. And then I started reading the reviews of people who have been qualified, former employees. So these are people who worked there, people who have been there. And I think there was something that control find, pay cut. Unpredictable pay, 230 weeks on average. So these are people talking about it right here. And this was there was one that was like a day ago that I saw. Let me see. Date. Yeah, where's the date on this? Yeah. So this is like from their this is from Indeed, but this is from the Indeed review. Like there ain't no hiding it here, right? This is them telling all. This is them like giving the whole entire truth and everything you need to know. They don't be deceived by their advertising pay rate for any non-driver union job. They base that on 20 to 40 hours a week. They usually expect more of your effective hourly rate will start to go down if you work more hours. So it's just a scam. It's just really bad. But taking it a step further, right? First Starbucks location that voted to unionize is being shut down. So even when the corporation has to do the right thing, they rather take an L in total profits. They'll calculate you out. And people, that's crazy to me that they unionize, and instead of coming to the table to acknowledge the thing that's going on, they rather just shut down the whole damn store. Stick it to you one more time. With thousands of locations nationwide, a single Starbucks closing typically isn't national news. But at a time when the coffee chain is dealing with a major unionization push from employees and being accused of potentially illegal anti-union behavior in the process, the announcement that Starbucks shuttering a unionized store in Ithaca, New York, is grabbing a lot of attention. So it's just like they don't even play by the rules, and they expect people like to have respect. I don't drink coffee, and if I did, I wouldn't be drinking any Starbucks coffee. But that's the bullshit that we have to deal with. And I just want to make this clear. These corporations are trash. And if you can find a way to live without them, please do. Please do. Because it was a painful realization for me when I started working. Now, hey, I have a bunch of degrees and I have a bunch of skill sets that make me valuable to my workforce, to my workload. But I'm here to tell you, when I worked as a carpet cleaner, when I worked as a meat packer, when I worked as whatever labor job I had, whatever service job I had, I put in, if not more work, as a laborer, as a functional user than I ever did in my current position. And I literally cut people open for a living. So miss me with that bullshit when it says, "Oh, if you want more money, get a better job." There's no job in this world. I can say this outright. There's no job in this world that shouldn't provide for you to survive in this country. And the fact that minimum wage is about to be overtaken by gas prices, and in some states in this country where gas prices are $10 right now, a gallon of gas. The difference between you going to work now is if you would rather work an hour just to buy a gallon of gas. And that is crazy. When a whole hour of your shift could go in your gas tank, leaving you probably 30% of your check to then decide what to do with your life, you literally are waking up to work, to survive, to die. That's the new American dream. Miss me with all that other shit. The new American dream for the vast majority of people is to wake up, work, and die. Period. And if you feel differently, show me that in the backings of the economy, right? Show me where that's not the case right now. But hey, that's where we are right now. That's what we're doing right now. Clap it. Let me know. Talk to me about it. I'm eager to know your perspective and your point of view on this. If there's something I'm missing, because I'm not like I said, I'm not beyond reproach in these things. I know there's something I'm missing, but what companies have been going out of their way to make shit just miserable for their workers? It's crazy to me that we just don't have this common decency, and I guess I'm asking for too much. But in the last story that we're going to cover tonight, I guess the definition of decency has changed a lot. And the importance of us to be able to dictate that is relative, right? So let's get into it.